So I think let's start with the main ways that AI is helping seniors today. And we might actually, as we go through these, which I know we'll get into the cons
Right.
probably in the second episode, but, you know, one of us, probably me, maybe might take a little bit of a devil's advocate
Yeah.
position on some of this. So we'll just see where it goes on that. So, yeah.
Perfect.
So probably health monitoring. That is hard to say. Excuse me. Maybe you could help me with my enunciation.
You know not to ask me, so
Yeah,
but go
and
ahead.
medical support. So what do you think? Where do you think it's going with
I think
that?
it's making some really big advances. And one of the things we're going to talk about some of the examples and looking at the notes, the one that really hits home with me
Uh-huh.
is going to be, and you've got yours on. I didn't
Oh,
don't have mine on right
yep,
now,
yep.
but it's a smartwatch.
Yeah.
What I really liked, and when I started was diagnosed with major anxiety and
Hmm.
really having some issues. I had read about the smartwatch can tell you, and it'll tell you if what your anxiety is
Oh
and what
my.
your anxiety level is. And it
Oh,
comes up with this little man, and he tells you if you're, that when you need to kind of sit back,
maybe do
he
some
turns
meditation or
pink,
something. Take
or
a
he
deep
may,
breath.
yeah, or if check it like every 30 minutes or whatever you want, come back with a smile that you're not stressed
Yeah.
or that your stress levels is really good.
Okay.
And that was really, and that's why that was one of the reasons why I got
Wow.
this smartwatch.
Okay.
Wasn't to track my steps because I knew that would be a slow
Well,
process.
well, and I'll tell you the reason I got mine is because when I was running, because of the emergency feature on it. Because you can set
Absolutely.
up, I have, my husband, I have my daughter, I have my son, I have my sister, like 4 or 5 people, plus it automatically calls 911. And so if something were to happen, I could push it and it would, in a matter of seconds, notify all these people that there's an emergency.
Yeah, and I thought what the cool thing was is in that I didn't even know it did was my sister was walking to her mailbox and she slipped and fell,
Oh.
and they left quite a pretty good piece of land,
Mhm.
and her smartwatch went off and came on to ask her, "We see you've fallen. Do you want us to call for help?"
Yeah. So those are positives.
Well, a negative is though. Remember when Christmas though,
Yes.
when we were in shopping
Yes. In grapevine.
in
Yep.
Grapevine,
Yes.
first thing I did is I missed a
You
curb
stumbled.
and I went right to my knees.
Yeah.
But and I hadn't had my smartwatch for very long, and it failed me. So it's not 100% because the first thing I was waiting for it to go off, and the last thing
Yeah.
that it never. I don't know if it's because my arm didn't fall because I caught myself.
Yes. You
I did,
stumbled. You
yeah,
you
I
went down,
fell
but you
and I
didn't.
went
Yeah.
down to my knees,
Yeah.
and it didn't go off. I thought, "Oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? Take it? Is the trick to take it off my wrist and throw it?
Yeah.
Is there another?" I didn't.
I'm down.
I must have missed that for
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
instructions.
Yeah.
But of all the things that it does in monitoring your health, it can do
Mhm.
your sleep if you
Mhm.
wear it while you sleep to see how your
Yeah.
sleep
When do you
is.
charge it if you wear it when you're sleeping?
I haven't tried that
I
yet.
haven't either.
I
I think
usually
that's too
charge it at
much. I'm gonna take it off.
I usually charge it at night,
Yeah,
and
I
of
do
course,
too.
I've got one of those great big ones because I have a hard time seeing, so
Okay.
that's not real comfortable to kind of
Oh yeah.
to
No,
sleep in. But I really like it.
yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. I've liked it for what I've used it for too. So yeah.
So the next one is going to be it's talking about the health apps and taking medication and tracking symptoms and different things. Again, it's going to go back to like our smartwatch.
Yeah.
Um,
Boy, I'm just gonna admit a lot of this I don't understand.
I use AI a lot.
You do.
I use AI probably more than I should. We use it at work.
Yeah.
It's very helpful at work,
Hmm.
and I use it. I use it a lot. Now we're going to get into, yes, I use it a lot,
Hmm.
but am I getting the correct information? Is
Right.
it failing me? Is
Right.
it, it's not foolproof yet.
Right.
So you have to kind of really
Yeah.
you've got to watch this new technology. It
Right.
can lead you down the rabbit hole.
Absolutely. And are you losing some of your critical thinking because
Absolutely.
you're picking it up and you're asking ChatGPT instead of, you know,
Yeah. But you
doing your
think it
own?
does it for your doctors? I was reading online, they had a special and they were talking about how AI in the medical field. And I found it so interesting because they're saying right now with technology, there's so many breakthroughs in medications, in
Mm-hmm.
diagnosing people with things. And if a doctor had to sit down and read everything that comes out every week, they would get nothing done and wouldn't see patients. They couldn't, it's just not, would not be possible.
Yeah.
So there is an app now, there's an app that actually they were promoting that's
Mm-hmm.
for doctors. And it takes all that medical information that's coming out, that's totally coming out, and it feeds it into this app, so these doctors don't have to necessarily do any reading or whatever. They can take it and they can put in the when they're what the symptoms are
Mm-hmm.
and what everything for this particular patient, and it'll scan through all the new breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And they were showing how it had actually really saved some lives and really helped some diagnosis that the doctor himself admitted that he may have missed.
Hmm. Okay. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
On the other side of it, I wonder if there's been some diagnoses
Are
missed.
they
And
exactly.
I wonder, what do the majority of doctors, how do
Well,
they feel about this or talk
it's
about
still
this?
probably it's like I think it's probably like anything. I mean, they probably don't just take it as
Yeah, you would hope not.
at,
Face
at what
value.
it
Yeah.
face
Yeah.
value, but it's a great tool. That's something maybe
Yes.
they didn't think
Yes.
about,
That's right. And
that
then they
they
can go take
that
it
and then
further.
they
Yeah.
can take
Mhm.
and then they can take it further.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah, so I think,
Hmm.
like I said, I'm all pro for
You're you
I'm
are.
real pro for
I'm
doctors,
hesitant.
and
Hmm.
AI, and for the because unfortunately or fortunately, I
Yeah.
mean, you have to watch it because you may find yourself trying to diagnose yourself,
I know.
and we're not doctors,
We're
and
not
maybe they're
doctors.
not
Well,
right,
I think
and
even before the big AI push here, I mean, people were already doing that, right? With WebMD. So people have that
exactly.
tendency to do that anyway.
And the first things doctors would tell you
Yeah.
is do not get Google, and do not
Yeah.
Google your symptoms. Do
Right.
not, you know,
That's exactly
don't
right.
do that.
That's exactly right.
Because when I started having my anxiety and my thyroid, um, I was, first thing I did before I called my doctor, before I did anything, when the test results came back and it showed my thyroid is, abnormal. What do you think I did?
You you looked it up.
I went to the
Yep.
computer and
Yep.
I asked Chat GPT. Came back in and they did. They told me exactly what it was that it sounded like, because the way the two tests didn't balance out
Uh-huh.
evenly, that it was probably due that my thyroid was way off, and it sounded more like that maybe if I was on thyroid
Uh-huh.
medication, which I was for slow
Uh-huh.
diagnosis or whatever, that maybe my medication at that time was too high, and
Okay. Okay.
it just that was it, and I
Okay.
knew that before I even went into my doctor, so I wasn't surprised
Okay.
when that's was her diagnosis, that we
Right.
needed to play around with
Okay.
the
Okay. What about your privacy? Do you ever worry that you've put this out there or you're asking Chat GPT, what's his name?
Chat GPT, AI,
asking AI,
AI.
asking AI something, and now your medical results are out there. I mean,
I
that's
don't. I don't. No. Now
okay.
on the, that's a I don't have anything to hide, and
Yeah, of
that
course.
doesn't bother me. But now you look when you start talking about banking
Yes.
and that kind of stuff. That's when you really, how much. I mean, I don't know how much, because once you chat GPT, it's just like your phones.
It's
If you've
there.
ever,
Yeah.
you can have a conversation with someone, and I can, and it will, what you talked about, if you're looking for anything, a house,
Uh-huh.
if you talk about a loan, the next thing you know, your phone is blowing up. You haven't done researched it on your phone or anything, but your phone is blowing
Yep.
up with people in text messages, every advertisement you see
And when
wants
that
to.
used to happen, or first happened a couple years ago, it was always like, how did they know that I was looking at that dress? Or
Exactly.
how did they know I was,
Well, a friend had a really kind of a weird experience because um, he was he's gun enthusiast,
okay.
you know, and he was talking about, never not dream, we're in a conversation about, guns
Hmm.
and he was very funny. And then he called them later and he said, this is really scary. We just had this conversation on the phone
A
and
verbal
a
conversation.
verbal
Oh
conversation
boy.
on our phones.
Okay.
And now I'm getting all this information regarding everything to do about firearms and
Now,
guns.
I have not heard
He said,
that.
I'm very uncomfortable with this. This is, and that was, yeah, that was really, and it's happened to me before too, but that was really, he felt, not that he was doing anything wrong
Hmm.
or any other kind of discussion, but it's just the fact that was such an invasion of privacy, and that
Right.
really wasn't something that he wanted out
He
there.
wanted anybody to know. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's no one's business how many guns you have. It's nobody's business,
No.
where you want to buy your ammunition, and that's scary.
That is, well, that worries me sometimes of our conversations.
Well, and it should.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm talking to my best friend, I
Right.
don't, do I not have the liberty to
To say
be honest
to
and
be
say what I want to
honest.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, when I question that.
Shoot. What are we going to do?
I don't know. So now not only do I question your conversations,
Yeah. Yeah.
the whole world is questioning
Yeah,
you.
that's
The whole
right.
world can question your conversation. I'm just
Wow.
kidding.
I didn't really realize that,
What
Connie.
start watching it.
Ah.
Start
Well, number one, I don't really like to talk on the telephone.
right. I know
So,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And I'm not good at I get in, you get on to me
Yeah,
for
I
not
know.
texting
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
but I know you're not a phone
Yeah,
talker.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not. So maybe I don't have to worry about that. But still, that's concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then okay, so then we get into I don't like this part. Reducing loneliness and isolation.
I can see where that could be really iffy, but there are people and they're talking about it that are so involved with AI. We've laughed about it, but unfortunately
Yeah.
it's out there. You can
Yeah.
to see people are having relationships with their AI
And
person.
I think we touched on that
We
in
did
our very first
in
podcast.
one of our
Yeah.
that
Uh-huh.
they actually f- fall in love with this voice
That's
that's
crazy.
comforting. They can
Yeah.
have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
They can tell them anything.
Yeah.
They talk back to them.
That's so
So but which is strange. But for an elderly person, but it's no different than we have. What is it, Alexa? I talk to
well, I
Alexa.
know,
I tell Alexa to do
yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
Alexa, order this from Amazon.
Yeah, you're so right because I'm saying I don't use AI. Is what I'm saying. But then in there on my kitchen counter is Alexa.
Yeah, I'd be
I don't
lost.
do much. I listen to music. I might ask one or two questions, but I don't.
Alexa
But
tells me when I need to reorder something from Amazon. Tells me I'm
wow,
low. Alexa will say somebody's at your front door. Alexa tells me
really,
Amazon we just delivered your package.
wow,
I can speak and I have a new voice. Would you like to hear it?
yeah,
It's like, I
wow,
mean, it really does say that
yeah,
to me. Or you want to see
it's amazing.
what's new or yeah, I use it to, so I'm a terrible speller. I use it
Yeah,
all the time for spelling.
I'll be darned.
And I even told it the other day. I was trying to type something. I couldn't remember how to spell something. And I asked Alexa, and she was trying to spell it. She was spelling it too fast. And I had to say, and I asked her, I said, Alexa, could you please spell whatever it
Uh-huh.
was slowly? And you know what she did? She spelled it slowly.
I'll be darned. So you've really embraced it, I think.
Yeah, I have.
And probably even more so than you realize because it's
Yeah, I'm
convenience.
realizing it now.
Yeah, you
I'm
realize
thinking,
as we're
wow, I
talking about
really
it.
do
Yeah,
use it.
yeah,
I do use that.
yeah,
Use it a lot.
yeah,
You people use it all the time.
yeah,
Do you not? You
yeah,
track your friends.
yeah,
You can track friends
yeah.
anywhere they are. You can track their cars. I mean, you have to sign up
I
for
was
it.
gonna say.
I'm not tracking you, but I mean, but you have people, now they have the ability. Well, can you imagine the trouble we would have been
Oh,
in growing up?
oh,
Oh, my mother would have had a field day if
yeah.
she could have tracked us.
Shoot, I probably would have been in jail a few nights, you
She would have
know?
been. Oh no, my mother would. She would have had. She would have been up there dragging me out of some of those places. It wouldn't have mattered if I
Yeah,
was on
yeah,
a date with a man. I mean, I
yeah,
don't care if I was 40. My mom would
yeah,
have probably just. She would have
yeah,
tracked me and found me.
yeah. I don't know.
Uh,
There's so much positive to it. I do agree with that. There's so much uncertainty about it and
yeah.
things that scare me about it. And I read way too much Ray Bradbury, you know, and all those science fiction stories
Yeah.
and everything. It just amazes me how much of that is, coming to be.
And it's like when I looked at the clock when I was headed over here, and I thought, oh no, I'm running late. You know what I said? I said, Siri, text Vicky.
Did you really?
And she says, "What do you want to tell Vicky?" I said, Say I'm running a little late. We'll be there in 10 minutes." Then
And I thought that was from
it reads
you.
it back and it says, "Do you want to send?" And I said, "Yes," and it sent it.
Then I have a suggestion for you. I think you need to tell Siri whenever Vicky texts me, make
Please.
sure I text her back.
Well, I'm waiting for Siri to do it automatically. We just haven't gotten there yet. Okay, remind me. Text me when Vicky texts. Would you
Yeah.
please text her back and remind me to see what you sent?
Wow.
The letters in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness. But you're right. I definitely use Alexa.
yeah. And this talking about, let's see, we've got the other thing is how the system analyzes speech patterns or movement changes that we're going back to the medical part here,
Hmm.
that can early signs of when you're declining.
Okay.
Doctors they're going to have, they could have a monitor if somebody
Hmm.
thinks that they're getting dementia,
Yeah.
if they're concerned.
Yeah.
I bet you there's something that they can send you home with, a monitor of sorts.
What if it screws up though and you get committed to?
Nobody's going to commit
Oh, you
you.
say that. I don't know. So just at the start of this podcast, I was stumbling all over my words and, just
So if
trying
you'd
to.
had a monitor,
I know that.
you would have been gone like
they
that.
already have me in assisted living here. I'm just saying.
No, but it
everything-
could be a doctor. Doctors send you home all the time they send people with heart monitors, people with sleeping. When you
Yeah.
have sleeping disabilities,
Yes.
they can monitor your
Yes.
sleeping and they can do all that. And
Yeah.
heart,
Yeah.
monitor your heart from a distance.
Yeah.
All that is is
Yeah.
technology. Why shouldn't they? If if you're living alone or your parents and you're concerned and the first thing they say is, "I'm fine, there's nothing wrong with me, I just can't remember where I put the keys,
Uh-huh.
when I go outside I can't find the back door to get
Yeah.
in."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you said, your mother
Yep.
thinking people were coming in
Oh, yeah.
and taking
Stealing.
stealing
Mhm.
stuff, or stealing, she had her coats hid and
Mhm.
stuff for all
Mhm.
this. It that wasn't that long ago. What,
No.
10 years maybe, if
No, not
that,
even that
now?
long ago.
Maybe if
5.
there was a monitor or something that can move it. What if you're home, you have nobody lives with you, you are prone to strokes? Wouldn't you feel safer to know that you had something that if you had a stroke that's going to be there? I mean, I know they have dogs and things that
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
sense
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
technology.
I'm saying that's part of the struggle, right?
Yeah.
Because there is a part of it that is positive, especially in a life-threatening situation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How could you say no? Don't notify somebody if you have a stroke or you're having a heart attack or something like that. On the other side of it, I mean, dadgum, just like what you're talking about, everything is recorded, and I just think it sounds like to me somewhere out there's a Connie database,
Right.
and they know every single thing about
Right.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a really scary experience about 20 years ago. I was home alone and I was going to go and mow the yard. And I had my garage door was open and my car was kind of parked kind of in front of my garage. And I had the door open and I stepped out and I fell.
Oh.
And I went to grab myself, and when I did, I hit the car door. And I
Oh.
hit the car door so hard
Oh.
that I had the size of an egg
Wow.
came up on my head.
Wow.
And it scared me so badly.
Sure.
And I did call we had a cell phone back
Mhm.
then, and I did call my son, and he immediately came over. But had he not answered, or if there'd been some sort of, like I said, the fall
Yeah.
thing where I mean, I was so scared I wasn't even gonna, and I could have, it's one of those things where you think, do you call 911?
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe if I'd had everything right there handy,
Right.
but I hit it so hard that I got what they call raccoon eye.
Oh my
And
goodness.
raccoon eye means you hit it so hard that the blood to
Oh,
your head that
yikes.
it drains down.
Yeah.
And I had two turn completely.
Wow.
I mean, I looked like somebody hit me, but they said that's what it was caused from. But
Yeah.
what if he hadn't answered?
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. Well, okay, my mom, and this is probably 3, 4 years ago. Um, we had her in assisted living. A family member moved her out of that and just put her in one of those apartment complexes for over 55, which she already had early set dementia. She had no business being in
Right.
an apartment,
Right.
right? So she fell. She fell, and she was on a step ladder, which she shouldn't even have a step ladder. But she was on the step ladder, fell, and she was fractured her hip, and she was
Oh,
down for probably 3 hours or so before my niece went over there and found her. But so yes, that it would have been a positive thing. On the other side, she had one of those monitors she was
monitors.
supposed to wear, but she refused. So, it would have detected that she had fallen, but she wouldn't
And you have
wear
to.
it. So I don't know how does AI detect that she's down on
But
the
there may
floor,
be a
but
way eventually, and maybe it's there now.
yeah,
Well,
maybe
you
it's
know what?
cameras.
Now you've got cameras,
Now
right?
you've got cameras.
Cameras are going to take. Cameras can tell you,
But can you imagine? Where do you want cameras in your house?
my poor sweet grandmother, and this will tell you how technology has changed and should have been. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
shame they didn't have it back then. And I'm talking probably 40 years ago, about probably 40 years ago. She lived by herself. She's a single woman,
Hmm.
and bless her heart, she had got locked in the bathroom. As weird as that may sound, she got
Yeah.
locked in the bathroom.
Inside the bathroom.
Inside the bathroom. Now, back then didn't have cell phones.
No,
They had nothing.
right?
So it was like it took them, a family member just happened to it was like almost 12 hours for
Wow.
someone to find her.
Oh my goodness.
That somebody, I guess, called, and I guess my uncle had gone over there, and there she was because she didn't answer the door. I guess, after so many hours.
Hmm.
And we laughed. We said, well, he asked her, he said, well, Mom, what did you do? And she says, well, I soaked in the bathtub. I did my makeup.
I did my
So,
nails.
no, I said, I'm figuring somebody's going to see me. But,
Yeah.
but back
Wow.
then, for the elderly
Yeah.
particularly,
Yeah. That's
scary.
scary. Very
Yeah,
scary.
we didn't have this.
No.
But they have to be. It's like my uncle. I tell my uncle, do you want to let me buy you I'll buy you a watch. I don't want to wear a watch.
Yeah.
I'll buy you one of those things. I will sign up for this for you. I don't want that.
Well, that's what you run into. Like,
And when it
he's
comes,
refusing, my mom refusing.
yeah, he's 90 some
Yeah.
years
Yeah.
old, and he
Yeah.
needs to.
You're right.
They need it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you still would have to fight with that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, technology may have it where you're going to have a smart house for elderly.
Well, I know. And I know one of the topics we were talking about for the elderly is, medication reminders. So that sounds great too. But and I have another story about my mom, as she got into the dementia, but she was still pretty independent, but forgetful, and she would not take her medication. So we did two things. I can't remember which order that we did it in. If we hired somebody first to come every single day and make sure she took her medication, which is not cheap.
Right.
That's right out of your pocket, and and they're there for 2 minutes, right? And then there was another time where, especially Jonathan did it, and then Mary, our friend, did it too, because they had a little more availability than those of us that were still working, every day he would go there and make sure she took her medication.
Yeah,
So, I mean, yeah. So, yes, it sounds great. Yes, please remind my mom to take her medication. How you get them to do that, I don't know. But
that's true.
yeah.
I mean, there's just, but back, like I said, back, when growing up, we didn't have all that kind of.
No, not at
So, I mean,
all.
this is so technically, if you have to say, this is a good thing for seniors.
I can see the good in it.
I mean,
Yeah.
and with and as time progresses and things
Hmm.
go, it could turn out to be really good.
Yeah. Unless let's circle back on the relationship or the emotional connection. I wonder. I can see how that can help with loneliness, maybe a
Yes,
little bit. But then, what if something happens? I don't know, something crazy in the.
your reminder to take
Sorry.
reminder to take your medicine just
Yeah.
went off.
That's great. That's great. But what if somebody does have that emotional connection and then something happens and they lose a connection or something? I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, I mean, well, that's a
thinking
good point.
through.
If they're that attached to
Right.
some
And
of
what if
these,
there's electricity goes out or something and there's
yeah,
not?
and you see in the movies and they talk about it, but they say it's real when these people are on their computer and they're saying like good night to the whoever their
Yes.
computer is or the lady that they talk to,
Yes. Yes. What if they don't answer?
you know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
I
there's
don't know.
some pretty
Like I say, good and bad. And
yes,
hopefully there's more positive, but we would be remiss if we did not also talk about the negative.
that's true.
I mean, yeah. So
So, and let's see. Then we're going to go and we've already talked about some of the common devices: the Apple Watch with the
hmm
fall detection, the Fitbit for health tracker.
yeah.
Another one's good that you would go with your back kind of basically, and I think you can do it with the things they have now is to like for your blood pressure and your glucose for people with
Okay.
diabetic.
Okay. Yeah.
That could help. Something that'll tell you when your blood
hmm
pressure goes,
It's too
to
high.
takes will take it, and you can do that. You
hmm
can do that with your, with it too.
yeah.
But getting back to what you were talking about, and we brought this up. It says one of the biggest problems that seniors face is social isolation. You figure when
I
you reach a
agree
certain
at
point,
that.
and as you know, when we get older, we kind of isolate ourselves
We do.
because we go to bed.
You
If you're like me, we go to bed early.
right. You don't want to go out.
You
You don't.
don't go
Yeah.
out. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much there,
And your friends die.
and your friends die.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may outlive your
Yeah. My
friends.
mom's almost 95.
Yeah.
She doesn't
I
have
mean, we've
anybody.
lost a lot of friends.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that we went to,
Yeah. Classmates are gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
no longer
Yeah.
around.
So you're right. And then if you have children, they have their own
Sometimes their
lives.
lives and they move
Yeah.
away and not,
Yeah.
we're fortunate.
Yep.
Our children live
Mm-hmm.
close. Our children are protective.
Yeah.
They watch out for us.
Mm-hmm.
But what's sad is there's a lot of elderly people that don't have that. And
Right.
when my dad was in the hospital, a nurse, because I stayed the whole time he was there with him
Uh-huh.
and slept there, and she came in and she said, I think that is so kind and so good-hearted of you
Yeah.
that you and your family are been here so much for your dad. She says, one of the hardest parts of my job is the fact that we see so many elderly people come in for, that's having surgery or bypass
Uh-huh.
surgery, and they have no one.
Wow.
No one comes to visit. No one comes to check on them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So there is a lot. I mean, you can see where there would if I didn't have my kids around, being single and a senior, I kind of isolate myself. I go nowhere really during the week. I work,
Yeah.
and I mean, I
Yep.
order with AI,
Yep.
order groceries here
Yep.
delivered. If
Yep.
I need any aspirins, whatever I
Yep.
need, I tell Alexa and she orders it.
I can see some positive there.
And you get used to that
Yeah.
habit
Mm-hmm.
of not
Right.
doing it,
Right.
that becomes comfortable and natural,
Right.
and then you just become even more of a
Yeah.
recluse in not trying to do that, or
Yeah.
even trying to some people aren't outgoing enough to go and make that initiative to go to try to make new friends or go to senior centers
Absolutely.
or to get out. They just don't. you
Well,
get comfortable in a situation, or you just don't have the social
right,
desire to do
right.
that.
Well, are you envisioning? What do you envision when you talk about AI helping in a social relationship or
It,
interaction? Just talking,
yeah, you
conversation.
know, you might be surprised how just to have somebody to talk to, or
Yeah.
ask their opinion. Are they going to come? They come out now with we talked about robo dogs.
Oh, that's scary.
Well, yeah, but I mean, for seniors, a senior
Oh, you're
companion.
talking about oh,
Yeah.
that's not very. I don't like that.
If you don't have anything else and you don't want a dog to clean up
Y-
after a dog, you don't want to have to remember to feed the dog
Yeah, but
because
you're
you're not
petting a
capable.
piece of metal.
I'm sure in their life, I'm sure, I'm sure in their lifetime they have patted a lot worse. A lot worse.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I guess they can
I'm just
design a robo
I'm just
dog that
saying.
with fur or fake fur or something.
Yeah. They
Okay.
can make that stuff look pretty real now.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
they're using, you talking about they're using, with surgeries and doctors learning to practice. Have you not watched how they have the fake patients that are the robots
No.
that they can deliver? They have a robot that can show people, can deliver the baby. I mean, that they use as
Yikes.
a woman, but it's
Yeah.
actually a robot
Yeah.
that acts in the doctor's can. How do you think they learn all this microsurgery? They're practicing on
Well,
not
I guess I
people.
don't know. I guess I hadn't thought of it.
Yeah.
But they were doing that, before AI
But
too,
can you
right?
imagine what they're doing now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Used to when you would have a hysterectomy, they cut you wide open. Now
Okay.
it's all micro
Yeah.
done.
Okay.
Even with the lap band surgeries and all that kind of stuff, they used to cut you open. Now it's
Okay.
all just done with a little laser thing, and they're looking
Really?
at AI, and they've got these little robots,
Okay.
things down in
All
there.
right. I mean, yeah, I guess so. You obviously know much more about it than I do.
I mean,
I
I did
don't
a
think
lot of
about all
research on
that.
it. It was really
Yeah.
getting preparing for the podcast. It was real eye
Yeah.
opening. It made me stop and really think the importance of AI and
Yeah.
where we're going. And like I said, good, the bad, the
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of
And I guess
pluses.
another thing, when you're talking about the interaction, I guess you could have the news read to you or
That's what it
stories
was
or
going into. Yeah, next,
okay. Oh,
control your lights. Do you have electronic
now I
lights?
do. I think that's great.
See, if somebody walks up to your door,
Yeah.
well, isn't it nice to have a floodlight that's going to come
Yeah.
on or
And
whatever?
yeah, that's positive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
I think that's real important.
That is
I've got
important.
used those. So,
Or automatically lock your doors. My mom would leave her house unlocked.
exactly. Make sure, and
Yeah.
now you can go anywhere, and through
Oh,
AI and through the thing, you can lock your
through an
door.
app.
You can
Yeah.
start your washer.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, that
Okay.
that that's common now. You can
Yeah.
start your washer and
I think
dryer.
that is on my new dryer, but
Yeah.
I would never.
You say that
I know.
now.
I
You
guess
got
I,
somewhere to
yeah.
go. You rush home to be, and you've got something in the that you need dry that you got in the
Oh,
dryer.
gee
It can be
whiz.
dry by the time you get home.
Yeah. Okay.
So you've got automatic lights. Your a stove. You can start your stove
Oh, that would be
on your
something
way
else
home.
to automatically have it turned off because mom did that too. She
There
would
you
leave
go.
it on or boil water to make her tea and
See,
just never
they have that now.
have it completely burn up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yes. Okay.
it can remind you again. It just goes back to like Alexa or any of them that can remind you of your appointments.
Yeah.
You've got your handwritten calendar. You could very well have Alexa
I
say, "Okay, Alexa, what am I doing, or what's my schedule for today?" And she would tell you.
I don't think I would do that.
Well, you do have Jonathan who can read back the calendar to you, so you got a real plus there.
No, I'm too old school for that. I gotta have my hard calendar and my list that I make.
You're fortunate.
Yeah. Yeah.
you,
Okay.
you have someone to help remind you. But if
No,
you
no, 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 no. It's the other way
oh
around.
okay. But yeah, it's these smart houses that they have
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you're going to go to, they're talking about the translation and, um, caption for seniors who can't, you know, your TV, that can
Oh.
completely do the captions.
Yeah.
With hearing difficulties, they
Yeah.
can do now with the phones.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just bringing up my mom, but
Yeah.
all this just relates to my mom. The one thing that I would think AI would have been great for her, we could never teach her how to use the remote control. Never.
See, now you don't
So
have
she
to.
just quit watching TV
Yeah.
and she always loved her news or her, soap operas or whatever. And no matter if we, you know, color coded
Right.
or whatever on it, she could never get it down. It was just too complicated
Now you
for
could
her.
just talk to it.
Yeah.
They could have, because it's going to be programmed
I do like that, and that
to
is
know your
helpful.
voice,
Yeah.
just channels or turn
Yeah.
on. And that's another way that kind of solves kind of the loneliness too. To even
Yeah.
sometimes, even when I'm home, I just like to have the TV on,
Sure.
just to
In the
have,
background.
yeah, just
Yeah.
to have the, the
That
noise.
does, I agree. That does give a sense of independence.
And it says it really, but unfortunately, most seniors are not comfortable with some of the new technologies. Like you said,
Yep.
you weren't completely
Uh-uh.
comfortable with the voice controlled systems.
Mhm.
Um, it's This is much easier than smartphones or computers,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you talk and you do it
Yeah.
automatically.
Yeah.
My poor little uncle has a flip phone.
Yeah.
I sent him a picture because I wanted to find out what relative it was. And he told me I had to send it in a smaller file because his flip phone only had so much memory in it. And he can't look,
Yeah. Yeah.
just refuses to move on. And and I said, well, would you like for me to get you an iPhone? And
Uh-huh.
again, I got pushback like, no, why do I need
Yes.
I can do it
Right.
on my,
And
I
you know
can
what?
get,
That would probably just be overwhelming to
yeah, I
him.
can get Google on my, I can Google my ailments on
Y- Yeah.
on my phone.
I can self-diagnose myself.
Yeah,
Oh goodness.
So it's actually, we've learned that it really is improving the independent.
I
It
think it
improves
does.
their
I think yeah.
independence at home.
And you know what? So what if you're 90 years old and you use all this and there's a database on you or somebody's
Who
keeping all your
cares?
information?
What are
That's what
you
I'm
gonna?
saying.
Yeah,
At that point, and in that instance,
yeah. You're
that
gonna.
I don't think
There's
that's
a
too much of a worry.
no,
Yeah.
no. And again, it's going to go back to, like, we're talking the smart. Maybe they're going to have senior apartments, eventually, or the assisted livings that are going to be all smart, where the
Yeah.
lights will turn on and off automatically at night. AI security cameras that can alert members if something unusual
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
Smart stoves that turn
Yeah.
off automatically.
Yeah.
Motion sensors
Yeah.
to detect inactivity or falls.
Yes.
What if you're
Yeah.
incapacitated, or you died 3 days
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah.
It'd be
Or
nice and your family lives out of town, for
yeah.
somebody to get
Yeah.
some sort of notification. Here's what you talk about here that's really new now, that's so great, is what about robo vacuums?
Yeah.
They just my son he just loves his.
Does he?
Oh, yeah, it just
I've
automatic.
heard both cases.
Oh,
Some people love them and
no,
some don't.
he just loves it. It
Oh
just
my
goes all
gosh.
around and
Yeah.
comes back and parks itself, cleans it, goes, makes you go see about drives me. He got me one at one time, and it just drove me crazy.
Okay, so you didn't really like
I'd be
it.
on the phone or
Oh,
whatever, and it would, it would
yeah.
take off, and
Yeah.
then you'd hear it, and then it would be like, want to go, and if it picks up, it was out back a while
Uh-huh.
when they first came out. Pick
Uh-huh.
up the wrong thing, and it was just, grab the dog's tail. It was, there's just,
Oh yeah. Okay.
But anyway, but those kind of things help for elderly people
Sure.
to
Sure.
reduce some of the
Sure.
physical strains
Sure.
of everyday life.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. I understand that. I don't know where you are.
I am where it says especially important for aging in place instead of moving
I think
into
we're
assisted
all
living.
on the different cards.
Oh, I'm in transportation and
Oh yeah, that's where I
mobility,
am now. Okay. Yeah.
and house is helping seniors. Now, this one I love. This one is absolutely hits me right. I mean,
Okay.
this
Why?
totally, because you've driven with me. Why would you ask why?
That's true.
So, needless, a lot of people
And there's no
have.
way you're going to give up your driving though yet.
No. So, it says how it's keeping people, so you can drive longer, for your navigation. I would be so lost without navigation.
Without it beeping at you
I
that
probably
you're doing
couldn't
something
get to the
wrong.
gas. No,
Oh.
just the fact to tell me where to go.
Oh, how to
I can
get
go with
there.
I mean, I'm just now to the point that I can drive to your house without having to put
Oh
it into my
goodness.
GPS.
Wow.
And I do it every time I go pick up my granddaughter in Carrollton. I have to program it in. I've been there forever, but I'm scared to death I'm going to miss the wrong thing.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And and these are the features that I really like.
Okay.
And this saved me. This And my car that I have now, and these are the things that my kids even insisted
Okay.
that
That you
when I
have.
got a car,
Yeah.
these were the things that I had to have in order to continue to be able to drive.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that was lane assistant. So my car, when I have, and they programmed it, when I'm driving and I'm get my mind going somewhere, if I go to another lane, my car will push me back over.
Wow. Really moves you.
Yeah, and you can
Okay.
tell they get
Okay.
the steering wheel. Anybody who's got it, they know your steering. You
Okay.
get that pressure
Okay.
from the
Okay.
steering wheel.
Okay.
The blind spot warning.
Yeah, I do like that.
That
Yeah.
has saved me
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
times because it's got number one, I've got the little, which I'm sure you do,
The lights.
the lights.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I ever drove without it.
Yeah, I
Obviously,
know.
I didn't do a very good
Yeah.
job, or everybody would make me want to get a car that had all this on it.
Yeah.
But and then it's like, and the emergency braking.
Hmm.
Your car, it goes like if I'm driving up and the car in front of me
Uh-huh.
stops,
Uh-huh.
my car is going to sense it and it stops.
That's crazy.
You
I
set it. You
I
can even
don't.
set it for how many feet you want the car to
Wow.
stop by, and
Okay.
it lets you know if you're in a and then if you're in a parking situation and you're backing out, it'll i- i- it'll it'll
If
flag
you're
you
too
on
close
all
to
that
something.
if you're too
Wow.
close to something, and if a car gets too close to you, like on the front or the back, my
Mm-hmm.
my seat actually vibrates.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. When
Wow.
I pull into my
Yeah.
garage, it's really funny. I talk about older people. I pull in until I get till my seat goes, bzz, and then I know, I'm in that spot I need to be because all the lights are red. That means everything over there. So I'm close to everything, which is that's a
I
good
thought you were
thing.
going to say you kept doing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I stay there for 10 minutes usually.
Back and forth.
Yeah, we do what we got to do. I love AI.
No, those are all
I
positive
drive
things.
looking for an 18-wheeler
Yeah.
to come by. but I do. I go, then it goes, bzz, and I go, oh, okay, I'm parked.
Wow.
And put it in.
Your car's much
Then I
fancier
can
than
put
mine.
it. Oh, I'm sure yours has it too.
Well, if it does, I don't know how to use it. The
But
lane
those are
assist. Yeah.
really,
But that makes me not so worried about driving
But
with
with me,
riding with you
yeah.
then
Well,
anymore.
yeah. But it's still, I mean, you can, miss it. But it's
Of
sure,
course,
it's
but
nice to be able to change lanes without
yeah,
panicking and
yeah,
wondering if
yeah,
what's going to happen.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, my kids were very. I mean, my driving, even though I had all that experience when we were younger, my driving skills have really deteriorated,
Yeah. Okay.
and it's very helpful.
Yeah.
I don't think I would feel comfortable driving without it
Yeah.
now.
What do you think about the driverless cars?
I don't know. That's kind of weird. I mean, they're very common now,
Yeah, they are.
but I don't know how comfortable I would feel sitting in one that there's no one there. I don't
Yeah.
think they've quite
They
perfected it
haven't.
yet.
They haven't. In fact, just the other day on the news, there was a fire or something in one of the Waymos, I think, was blocking the
Yeah,
road to the fire truck.
yeah.
So, I mean, you know,
And we're going to get along with what the cards place with the dealerships and the car manufacturers later on in probably the next episode more because it's a pretty lengthy discussion
mhm.
is about what they're doing to to the cars of the future. And when I mean future, I mean next year, and that's a topic that a
Ooh,
subject that's
okay.
really that's going to affect
Well, let's get into
that's
that.
going to
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
we've got fighting scams and the financial fraud.
Mm,
Again, we're going with older adults, targeted by scams, and
uh-huh.
AI tools are becoming more important,
Yep.
protection systems. Banks and technologies, companies now use AI to detect suspicious transactions, which is really great.
Yeah.
Identify scam calls.
Hmm.
We can all set those on our phone.
Yeah.
And it says filtering like different emails. Mine, I don't know how to do all that, and I get so much scam and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
But it says screening is especially useful to reduce robocalls and fraud. I haven't figured that one out yet.
No, but didn't you know someone that got scammed?
Yeah, I thought we'd talk about that. Yeah, I've known two
Oh, then
people
okay,
actually.
2 people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, but I can say one thing was really funny, and I'll even caller ID. Now, get this really
Uh-huh.
helps. This is pretty a funny story.
Or
that was
face recognition. That's
yes,
something new too. And I
right.
didn't mean to
Oh yeah, no, no,
yeah, but who
that's a
would have thought
really a
that you
good
could
one.
just look at your phone or log in by
With
staring at
that, now that can be dangerous,
okay.
and we can get into
Okay.
some
The
things
dangers, the
that's
bad.
happened
Okay.
of that.
Okay.
But I was at work. I always get these scam calls, and about I guess 6 months ago, I got a scam call, and the guy said that he and I knew it was scam, but
You answered the
I answered the
okay.
phone, and
Did it come up as a what would it come up
no, I
on your
can't
phone?
remember. It came up with a number,
With a number. Okay.
and anyway, and they said that they were with the Dallas County Sheriff's Department, and that I had didn't show up for jury duty.
Oh,
And they needed
wow.
me to come down. I could, I needed to talk to the judge, need to this stuff. Well, I knew that was,
Yeah.
a scam, and
Uh,
I didn't think too. I was like, oh, you kind
mhm.
of blew it off. So, about couple of months ago, and I may have told you, call number shows up again, calls up, but this time it said no number, and I knew it was I just had the feeling it was one of those
And
scam
why are you
calls.
answering? Because you're in sales and you have
Yes, and I have
customers?
customers that call
Okay.
me all the
Okay.
time.
Yeah. So you have to answer.
Yeah, and so sure, and so the minute the guy answered, I knew, and I played it so good. It was like a dream come true. Number one, I knew by the number in the call that it was going to be what the call was about.
Okay.
So I turned on that southern accent like you wouldn't believe, like the little old lady.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Hello, hi, hello." And he goes, "Was this Mrs. Maxwell?" I said, "Yes, I'm so glad you called." I said, "Would you please tell that judge?" I said, "I know I'm supposed to be at jury duty today, and I've just been so
Did
busy."
you really do
Yes, I
that?
did. My son, even Harvey, he's like, "What in the world is she?" I said, "I've just been too busy, you know. But how are you doing, darling?"
Oh, oh my
And
goodness.
anyway, so it got on, and I said, "Yes, these judges, I know, I'm just so bad. I had to get my hair done, and I was, I had just a lot I needed to worry about."
You're a
And
mess.
then he goes, it was so funny because I said, "Well, it is what you're calling about, right, darling?" He goes, and he just kind of went blank, and he was like, No."
Oh.
And I said, "It's not." "Well, what do you need?" And he says, "Well, actually, it's because we caught you running a porn website."
Oh.
And I said, "You found my porn website." I said, "Oh, I was worried about those Google searches not being able to
You
able
kept going with this?
just able to pull up pull up our website." I said, "I am so glad to know that I pay a lot of money for those ads, and I am so glad that it's working."
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
said, "I want you to know," I said, that you were really impressed." Said, "5 stars." I said,
You're
"It's
awful.
5 stars, and you know what, honey? I have it opening in 69 minutes."
Oh,
Needless to say, he
honey.
hung up on me.
So you're probably the only one that is
I mean, I
reverse
don't know
scammed
how
or
he did it.
whatever.
That was so,
What were
and I
they
was
wanting
so.
from you though? Although that's
I think
hilarious.
I think they want you to
Pay a
say you're
fine or
going to pay the
something?
fine, or you're going to
Okay,
have to go
yeah.
down and pay something. But I
Okay.
was like, "Oh Lord!" And then I was like, "Damn, why didn't I record that with such a perfect call in a way to get him?" I said, "I
Yes.
could be so rich. I could have put that on TikTok."
You sure could have. I can't believe you did that. That's
I mean,
hilarious.
it just fell into my lap.
And you just took it and ran.
I just took it, and I mean, you talk about, I ran a marathon.
Oh my
So he won't
god.
be called.
You're so funny.
He hasn't called back.
Yeah, they probably took you off the do
I'm
not
sure.
spam.
Yeah, do not spam list.
Don't call
Yeah.
this crazy lady.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's
So,
hilarious.
I
Um,
was gonna just scan through to see what we've really,
yeah. And see, on my flip side for me, because I don't like to talk on the telephone for one thing,
right,
but also I'm not in the business. If I don't know who that is that
right.
comes up, I don't answer.
Yeah.
So,
Usually,
yeah.
actually, usually I don't. But actually, for some reason, I knew when that
I
number
know.
came up.
I love
I
that
knew.
story though.
I knew. I felt it. I really felt it.
You were just itching to
And
do something.
I just could not. Couldn't. I could. It was
Yeah.
something I really.
That's hilarious.
I couldn't resist.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
So that's where we're going to be basically at.
Okay.
We've got a
That's
lot.
kind of our introduction, and
Yeah, because we've
yeah,
got a lot to talk about on it. We've got a
yeah,
lot of good stories. We've
yeah.
had some friends that have been involved in the really got scammed out of a lot of money. One lady was
Oh
$35,000.
my goodness.
It's not like she had $35,000
To get
wiped her
scammed
out.
out of,
It
yeah.
wiped her
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
It's a really sad. Another
that's
situation,
heartbreaking.
someone's daughter actually lost
Oh my
$40,000 in a
goodness.
Bitcoin. Both
Oh
of them had to
dear.
basically
Okay.
do with Bitcoin,
Okay. Well, I want to hear
and
that.
they can
Yeah.
make it so real.
Okay.
So
All right. Well, let's come back and revisit that. Some
yeah,
of the good and bad, and
we'll talk the good and bad
some
and some
questions.
questions,
Yeah, go
and
over some
yeah,
questions, and yeah. Okay, great.
yeah, that's a real interesting topic.
Okay,
So
great.
like, subscribe, and do come back for part 2.
Yes, thank you.